All right, did it again. So we're making a Peryton this time. That's the color scheme that we're shooting for. Lots of blues and purples and warm colors. Boy, I don't know what to tell you. We're starting with some rough blocking. Probably should have started with the zenithal, to be totally honest, but I didn't. I was just kind of winging it. From where the light is coming from, we're going to start with warm colors. So lots of yellows, lots of oranges. For this initial pass, I'm going to stick with 3 colors, and that's going to be yellow, magenta, and blue. So here we come in with the shadow color of the blue, and eventually we're going to try to transition with some of that magenta. As far as the painting goes, nothing too totally crazy. I was trying out a new technique that I saw on Ninjan, but I don't know. He obviously can do it way better, but we're going to try. That's all we can hope for, right? But while we're painting this guy up, let's dive in a little bit into the Peryton itself. Perytons were twisted, depraved, magical creatures that appeared to be a cross between a giant eagle and a demonic-looking fang-toothed stag. They were well known and feared for tearing the beating hearts from their victims' chests. So, nasty birds. Anyway, so here we are coming in with some of the transitional magenta color. Trying to brush that in between the warm and the cool colors. It's looking pretty rough. So rough to the point where I busted out the airbrush to try to smooth out some of those transitions because, like I said, I was just kind of making it up as I went. And hopefully we can bring it all together here. So we're coming in with a light pass of yellow from the top and a pass of blue from the bottom. So we're trying to replicate a zenithal. I guess a zenithal highlight is probably what you would actually call it. Trying to hit all of those spots where I think the shadows might be. And of course, this is something you could do that I didn't, but if you just held it up to a really bright light in the direction where you think the light is coming from, that would replicate very accurately the way the light would behave and bounce. Now we're coming in with some brush work. We're going to try and push these colors. So right now I'm just trying to lay down a filter of orange on where I think those mid-tone values should be. So on the chest feathers, on the feet, and in the shadows of the feathers. So I wanted to try to pump up that color. This time around, I wanted to rely more on color for value and shadow and highlight, as opposed to just using black. Because black is great for black lining between colors and materials. But I wanted to try to lean in more to a naturalistic sort of feel. So we're going with a lot of oranges and just whatever's on my palette at the time, which is blue, yellow, and magenta. So we're just kind of mixing those up in all sorts of different combinations. Here we're trying to create some of the striations in the feathers and pumping up those highlights on the face with an ivory. Man, talking about your process is a skill I'm still working on. Yeah, tell me what you guys think. We're just cruising along, creating some highlights on the opposite side. So some bounce reflections into the shadows to make those a little bit more interesting to look at. And again, we're creeping up with ivory into some of the lighter areas there. And we're just going to work back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And when I think something gets maybe a little bit too bright with the highlight, knock it back down with a glaze of whatever the mid-tone color would be. And at least for eyes, at least the best way that I've found is to go in with a really dark color and then just put a pinprick of whatever the light color is, and then use glazing to the best of your ability. It's a really small area, so your results may vary. And now we're coming in with a dry brush of a really light color to make some of that feather texture really, really pop. And then we're coming in with a dry brush of dark. And now we're just finishing up the base. Here we go. Gonna lay down some warm oranges and yellows. We're going to lay down some greens in there too. But from here on, I think you pretty much figured it out, what we're going for here. It's more of the same, highlighting and stuff. And I let you enjoy. Well, I'll let you watch anyway. It's up to you whether you enjoy it or not. The rest of the painting. Here we go. So here it is, all finished. And if you want one for yourself, just go ahead and check out my Cults 3D. Link in the bio. Love you, bye.